Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's TPM5 here, back again with another NBA video. In today's video, I'm going to be previewing the Brooklyn Nets season, recap their off-season, and look to see how the new pieces fit in, and then obviously give my thoughts about their roster for the year, and obviously give a prediction. Without further ado, let's get started. So the Brooklyn Nets, as you guys know, traded for James Harden last year, which increasingly boosted their odds at a title. They finished with a 48 and 24 record in the Eastern Conference, which was good enough for the second seed. They made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals, where they would lose to the Bucks. Durant nearly got them through that step back, which was a long two instead of a three. It was probably going to be one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history in terms of if he hit that shot. But nevertheless, they lost that game 111 to 115, and they were the first team in the league in terms of offensive rating, which is obviously you'd kind of expect, but they were at all-time levels in terms of offensive efficiency. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving both led the way, averaging 26.9 points per game each. James Harden came in and fulfilled a really good role, averaging 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 11 assists when he played. So that big three is fitting how it should. And I think that James Harden in the future is going to take more of that point guard role off of Kyrie Irving. And that was kind of what they were doing when they were playing together, and it did work pretty well. Now, just a quick break, guys, because I make NBA content 2 to 3 times a week. I'd heavily appreciate if you guys support me. I'm trying to, get as many subscribers as I can. 600 by the end of the month is a goal I'm looking at. But yeah, and if I have any returning subscribers as well, thank you guys for your continued support. And yeah, let's continue. So the Brooklyn Nets set out to extend members of the Big Three. Kevin Durant re-signed long term, as you guys know, and James Harden and Kyrie Irving are expected to be, by quote from Sean Marks, signed, sealed, and delivered by training camp. Sean Marks feels very confident. I'm pretty sure that's his name. And they have those guys for probably the next 4 to 5 years when or if they commit. So it'll be very good for their future, given that they gave up a lot of draft picks to get a man by the name of James Harden, who is going to do a lot of stuff for them. Now in the draft, they did have a late first rounder and 3 seconds, so they come out of it with 5 players. And the co-MVP of the Summer League, Cam Thomas, dominated, the Summer League in Vegas. He's shown star quality, and in New York City, that's a big plus. Some draft people, still lament his ability to shoot the ball quickly. I think his release isn't that quick. He could be someone that looks to, develop and come into their rotation, similar to Talon Horton-Tucker in LA. Someone that might not play much in the first year, but can work his way into the rotation for the future. On draft night, as you guys may know, the Brooklyn Nets did trade Landry Shamet in exchange for Javon Carter and the 29th pick, which eventually turned out to be Daron Sharp, if I'm not butchering that. And he's likely to see a similar role in Brooklyn, that is Javon Carter, as he was a third string point guard in Phoenix, and looks to kind of be around that mark with him backing up Patty Mills and obviously whoever starts at point guard out of Kyrie and James Harden. Now, Shamet was a bit inconsistent in the postseason. He shot 25% from three in both the Boston and Milwaukee series, and in the Game 7, with all the injuries that were in the backcourt and all the chips being pushed into play, he only played 7 minutes and didn't score. So from there, you could kind of tell that Brooklyn didn't really value him. But overall, that trade I just mentioned is kind of some cap relief as well. Obviously, Javon Carter makes $3.9 million in 2023 after making 3.6 this year, whereas Shamet would have had to have had a rookie extension, and in 2022/23 he would have been making 6 to 7 million. So obviously a little bit of money, but that is a veteran minimum spot, and obviously Brooklyn Nets are very deep into the cap. Let me just tell you guys, they have 161.6 million committed in the cap, with over 116 committed in James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. The Nets also parted ways with Spencer Dinwiddie, who's been a relic of their tanking years, or the years where they didn't have their draft picks. They got a second rounder in 2024, a second rounder in 2025, I believe. The rights to Nikola Milutinov, who is a European center. He's been, obviously playing in Europe. And then also, most notably, an 11.45 million trade exception that can be used up to a year after the sign trade is officially executed. So That sign and trade obviously happened, so they'll have 11.45 million in trade exception. So if they want to bring in someone that makes more than who they're trading out, that is a possibility. And if we look over in Boston, Boston did it this offseason, bringing in sorry about that, Richardson. I don't know why I said Jason Richardson, but yeah, uh, Josh Richardson, and then obviously that was from the Gordon Hayward free agency. But back to Brooklyn, that'll give them some flexibility in the future. And they found a very, serviceable replacement for Dinwiddie and Patty Mills on a 2-year, $12 million contract, which was the taxpayers' mid-level exception. He's obviously a very good bench guy. He played very well in the Olympics, scoring I think it was like 46 points in the bronze medal game against Slovenia, and he shot a career high 161 three-pointers last year and provides veteran pedigree and also veteran presence. The Nets kept Blake Griffin around on a veteran's minimum, and surprisingly, Brown will be returning on his 4.6 million qualifying offer, which will also hold big bonuses which aren't counted as part of the salary cap. So let's go through the lineups and look at each player. So we have James Harden, obviously at point guard. He can obviously play shooting guard too. He was averaging, as I said before, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, very serviceable. Now Kyrie Irving could be at the two, like I mentioned before. Those two are kind of interchangeable. I think they were rolling with Kyrie at shooting guard though when they were all playing. Kyrie is obviously very good, averaging 27 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Probably the third best player in the big three in my opinion. And then you have Joe Harris who can shoot, but they'll want him to step up from that, in that area, especially after showing the playoffs. Kevin Durant, obviously an MVP caliber type player, one of the top 3 players in the league, 27.7 rebounds, 6 assists. They kept Blake Griffin, and then Jevon Carter, DeAndre Bembry, Bruce Brown, James Johnson, DeAndre Jordan, Nicholas Claxton, Patty Mills, and Elise Johnson on the bench. The Nets rounded out their bench with some veterans who are both, experienced and can fulfill roles. I think that the Nets, if they are healthy, are the favorites to win the title. And yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.